All right, let's dive into Arundhati Roy's The Ministry of Utmost Happiness. It's one of those books that's famously complex, absolutely beautiful, but also, let's be honest, a little intimidating. It just sprawls all over modern India, tying together lives that feel like they're on different planets. So in this explainer, we're going to try and map out all these shattered stories and see if we can find the one thing, the one heart that holds it all together.
So the book kicks off with this line: "She lived in the graveyard like a tree." How about that for an opener? It's so surreal, right? You're immediately kind of thrown off balance. Like, are we talking about a person, a ghost, an actual tree? This is classic magic realism. Roy is just blurring the lines between what's real and what's, well, enchanted. And it's the perfect way to introduce us to our first main character, Anjum.
If there's one thing everyone agrees on, it's that this book is huge. It's this massive, sprawling story with what feels like 1,000,000 characters, all scattered across India, and their lives just bump into each other in the most unexpected ways. Which, of course, leaves us with that one big question. How on earth does all of this connect? What's the thread that pulls all these shattered pieces into one whole story?
All right, two worlds, one India. So to even begin to get a handle on this book, you have to see it as two completely separate universes. I'm not kidding. For hundreds of pages, you're reading these two parallel stories that feel like they have absolutely nothing to do with each other. It's a super bold move by Roy, and it really asks you, the reader, to just trust the process.
And here are those two magnetic poles laid out. So on one side, you've got Anjum's world. Think the crowded streets and, well, graveyards of Old Delhi. Her story is all about the Hijra community. That's a third gender community, people living on the margins. Then flip the coin and you're thrown into Tilo's world. This is a straight-up political thriller set right in the middle of the violent conflict in Kashmir.
All right, let's start with Anjum's world, the graveyard. Anjum is really the emotional heart of the whole book. She's the anchor for this entire Old Delhi storyline, and her journey is just, wow. It's all about transformation and sheer resilience. So look at this life journey. Anjum is born Aftab, a boy with both male and female genitals. He leaves home and finds his true self in the Khwabgah, this amazing, vibrant community of Hijras. But then, everything is shattered. She survives a horrific anti-Muslim riot, and the trauma from that, it just changes her. She leaves her community and ends up living in a city graveyard, of all places. And it's there, among the tombstones, that she builds this home for other outcasts, a place she calls the Jannat Guest House, which literally means Paradise Guest House. Okay, now let's completely switch gears and jump into that other world, Tilo's world, the conflict. This is a whole different vibe. We're talking politics, spies, insurgency, all set against the brutal ongoing conflict in Kashmir. Love and betrayal are the name of the game here. So at the center of this whole mess is the enigmatic Tilotama. Everyone just calls her Tilo, and her life is tangled up with 3 different men. And each one basically represents a different side of the Kashmir conflict. You've got Musa, her old flame, who's now a militant fighting for freedom. Then there's Naga, her husband, a big-shot journalist who's maybe a little too close to the government. And finally, there's Biplab, an intelligence officer who's been in love with her forever. It's this incredibly dense web of love, loyalty, and politics.
Okay, so this brings us right back to the big burning question. We've got these two totally separate stories going on for what feels like forever. On one hand, a community of outcasts in a Delhi graveyard. On the other, a high-stakes political thriller in Kashmir. How do these shattered worlds possibly connect?
The answer is a baby. That's it. It's so simple and so incredibly human. A baby, just left behind in the chaos of a street protest. Tilo sees her, and in one impulsive moment, she scoops her up and runs. In that one act, it changes absolutely everything. So suddenly, Tilo is on the run with a baby she can't explain to anyone. She needs a place to disappear, a real sanctuary. And somehow, through a twist of fate, she's led to the one place in all of Delhi that will take in anyone, no questions asked. Anjum's Jannat Guest House, the sanctuary for the broken, right there in the graveyard. And this is where it all finally clicks into place. The baby is the bridge. She's the reason that Tilo, from that world of political conflict, comes crashing right into Anjum's world of social outcasts. And right there, in that graveyard, this incredible new family starts to form. You've got Anjum, the Hijra matriarch, Tilotoma, the fugitive architect, Saddam Hussein, a low-caste mortuary worker,
Dr. Azad Bhartia, a lifelong protester, and of course, Miss Jabin II, the baby who brought them all together. They're a true ministry of misfits.
Even the baby herself, they name her Miss Jabin II. She perfectly represents this whole idea of a found community. I mean, think about it. She has 3 mothers. First, Revathi, her biological mom, who's a Maoist revolutionary. Then you have Tilotama, the one who rescued her. And finally, Anjum, who becomes her adoptive mother and gives her a real home. It's like she's the child of all of India's different struggles, all brought together by this unconventional love.
So, this finally gets us to the big question. What is the Ministry of Utmost Happiness? What does that title even mean? In a world that is so fractured and full of pain, where can you possibly find something like utmost happiness?
And the novel's answer? It's just incredible. The ministry isn't some government building. It's not a place of power or bureaucracy. It's the Janet's guest house. It's this small, fragile little sanctuary built by outcasts in a graveyard. Utmost happiness, Roy seems to say, is found by the powerless for the powerless. It's the little bits of love and safety that these misfits create for each other.
But the book doesn't just give us a simple, happy ending. It leaves us with this really chilling, provocative thought from Musa, the Kashmiri militant. He says, "You are not destroying us. It's yourselves that you are destroying." It's this powerful warning, right? That when a state wages war on its own people, when it breaks them and casts them out, it's not just destroying them. It's actually destroying itself. And that really is the question the book leaves you with. What happens when those who are broken create a world more whole than the one that broke them? It's a huge question, and it forces you to think about where hope really comes from. Maybe it's not in the big systems of power, but in the small, fragile communities, in the forgotten places, built by the people the world tried to throw away.